My team sabotaged me on a big project, so I let them crash and burn without me. I work as a project manager at a mid-sized company, and recently, I was assigned to lead a major initiative that had the potential to be a game changer for my career. It was a high-profile project with a lot of moving parts, and I was excited to take on the challenge. At first, everything seemed normal, until I started noticing some odd behavior from my team. Meetings were being scheduled without me. Key decisions were made without my input, and important emails conveniently left me out of the loop. I initially thought it was just a case of poor communication, but as time went on, it became clear that it was something more deliberate. Then, I overheard a conversation that confirmed my suspicions. Andrew, a senior team member with a reputation for being ambitious, and not in a good way, was talking to a couple of his allies in the break room. He was bragging about how this project was going to be his big break, and how I was getting in the way. He made it sound like he was single-handedly steering the project to success and that my involvement was unnecessary. That was the moment I realized they were actively trying to push me out. They wanted to take full credit for the project, and they thought they could handle everything without me. Instead of fighting them on it, I decided to do something else. I stepped back and let them have exactly what they wanted. I stopped offering guidance. I didn't remind them of deadlines, didn't steer them away from potential pitfalls, and didn't intervene when they made questionable decisions. I kept track of everything. Of course, I knew exactly where the project was headed, but I wanted to see just how long they could keep this act going without me. I'll update soon when things inevitably start falling apart. Update. Well, it didn't take long. The cracks started showing almost immediately, and I have to admit, watching it unfold has been more entertaining than I expected. The first major issue happened when they missed a crucial deadline because they failed to follow up with an external vendor. It was something I used to handle automatically. But since they wanted me out of the loop, no one bothered to track it. This caused a chain reaction. Because the vendor didn't deliver on time, the team couldn't proceed with the next phase, which put us behind schedule. Then came the compliance disaster. There are strict regulations in our industry that need to be accounted for during the planning stage. I had flagged this early on, but since I wasn't needed, they completely overlooked it. A week ago, someone from the legal team sent a very concerned email asking why we hadn't submitted the necessary documentation. Andrew and his crew scrambled to come up with an answer, but it was clear they had no idea what they were doing. My personal favorite moment so far? They scheduled a status update with senior leadership, and it was an absolute mess. They didn't have the necessary data prepared, couldn't answer key questions, and basically ended up giving a vague, unconvincing presentation. Leadership was not impressed, but instead of taking accountability, Andrew insisted that they were on track and that things would come together soon. Meanwhile, I've been sitting back, sipping my coffee, and watching this trainwreck unfold. A few colleagues who weren't part of Andrew's little clique have quietly reached out to me for help. I've given them just enough to keep things from becoming a total catastrophe, but I'm staying hands-off with the people who tried to cut me out. The big moment of truth is coming up, a major client presentation next week where they're supposed to showcase the project's progress. Considering how things have been going, I'm expecting an absolute disaster. I'll update after it happens. Final update. That presentation was even worse than I imagined. It started off awkward, with Andrew stumbling through the introduction. He had clearly prepped for this moment. But as soon as the client started asking technical questions, the illusion of competence fell apart. The slides were disorganized, the data was full of inconsistencies, and the team had no real answers for critical questions. The defining moment came when the client asked a straightforward question about a key deliverable. It was a basic inquiry, something that anyone managing the project should have been able to answer without hesitation. Instead, the room fell silent. Andrew panicked, looked around for help, and mumbled something about circling back with more details. The client was not amused. Neither was senior leadership. You could feel the tension in the room. By the time the meeting ended, it was clear that upper management had seen enough. Later that afternoon, I was called into a meeting with the department head, who asked me what had gone wrong. I kept my response professional and neutral, simply stating I wasn't included in most of the project discussions. So I can't say for sure. You should have seen the look on their face when that sank in. Long story short, I have now been officially reinstated as the project lead. Leadership has given me full control to get things back on track. They were very appreciative of my ability to step in and salvage the situation, though they didn't realize I had been quietly watching the disaster unfold the entire time. As for Andrew, he has been demoted. He's been reassigned to a much smaller, low-stakes project with a lot more oversight. The rest of his crew? Their reputations have taken a massive hit. They aren't being fired, but they've lost credibility, and people aren't exactly lining up to collaborate with them anymore. Now, I'm focusing on getting the project back on track. It's going to take some work, but I'm confident I can pull it off. The best part? Leadership now fully understands just how valuable I am to the company. Moral of the story? If someone thinks they can cut you out and succeed without you, sometimes the best revenge is simply letting them try.